You don't have to be Jewish to hear the joke, but if you're Jewish and you didn't hear the joke, then there's a problem, right? The very fact that you're sitting here listening to me means that God is communicating to you through me. That doesn't necessarily mean I can tell you what that message actually is. Hi, this is Rabbi Shmuel Koppel. Thanks for coming again to watch the video. In this particular video, I'm going to be discussing two concepts, although they're very connected to one another. The first concept that I'm going to discuss is the fact that spirituality is a very factual and realistic part of your life, and it's not just meant to be some type of an escape of reality. The second concept that I'm going to discuss is how to realistically engage with God in every single thing that you do in your life. Before we begin, I want to ask you personally that if you haven't yet subscribed to this channel, click subscribe right away and the bell so you get reminded every time we upload a new video. Bit of an interesting contemplation on something that I was thinking about today, and I think it's very relevant to general Talmud study. When it comes to religion and spirituality, they are aloof. It's like there's the world of God, and then there's this world. There's only one problem with that, is that who created this world is God. And so what many people use spirituality and religion for is what I call an escape. Escape is a way of getting out of our reality, and they think that somehow the God that created this reality wants you to leave this reality, even though he's the one that put you here. Does that make any sense? If God created this reality, and he put you in this reality, there's only one logical conclusion that you could and should be making, is that the most important reality for you at this time and place is right here. And as a matter of fact, it even says that in Deuteronomy, Lo b'shamayim hi. It's not in heaven. The Torah is not in heaven. It says it's close to you. Ki korev elecho hadavar ma'od beficha uvelvavcha la'asosei. So those of you that think that you're doing God a favor by escaping this reality, you are actually destroying and insulting God in his very creation. It's not about escaping this reality and living some fluffy life in the top of a mountain, excluded, where you meet no one, etc. And then you're like, oh, I'm pure, now I'm pure, and I'm different, and I feel cool. No, that's a fantasy, that's an escape. That's exactly what happens when a person takes drugs. Okay, you ever took drugs, Dan Sadiq? He says not about him today. I don't know who took drugs. Drugs? What? Drugs? What are you talking about?
I used to do drugs.
You used to? Oh,
I still do, but I used to.
Could you? Which drugs? Coffee. One time I went to the doctor, and he asked me if I'm on drugs. I said, yes, I'm heavily addicted to coffee. And he was like, well, you're right. That is a drug, but we don't count it. Huh?
Denial.
It's denial. The doctors are in denial. I actually got off of coffee because it almost killed me. Don't ask me about that story. You want to know more of that story? No, you're not interested. Huh?
I am interested.
You are interested?
You know who else is in denial?
Who else is in denial?
River. People in the triangle.
The people in the Nile that are swimming in denial, they're in denial. Back to what I was saying. The reason why Talmud specifically is so important is because it shows you how practical and how relevant every detail of our own reality is to godly service. As a matter of fact, many religions, they go out there and the first thing they want you to do is believe in something, and once you believe in it, they say you're good, you're going to heaven, you're doing well. Now, I got a secret for you guys watching online, and maybe even for you guys over here. Your entrance into hell or heaven, either one, is not going to be decided based on what you believe. It won't be. I'm sorry, anybody that told you that is wrong. Okay, it's going to be based on what you did and what you accomplished. But that's exactly what you're going to be judged on. No one's going to be judging you. Why did you believe this? Why did you believe this? Because that's the life you had. Those are the experiences you had. They're going to judge you on what did you accomplish? What were your actions? Now, even belief could be an action, because if you believe something, then you should at least research it and ensure that it is actually accurate. If belief is so important, if belief is so accurate, right, and it's so virtuous, right, then maybe a suicide bomber is a very holy person, right, because he's following his belief.
He thinks he is.
Yeah, he thinks he is, but does that mean he is? Okay, so if you're going to tell me that belief is actually virtuous, Well, then why is his belief any better than yours? Because he believes in something that you don't believe in? So what? You get to determine what God wants, not him. Maybe he gets to determine what God wants and not you. And therefore, it is important to realize that you do need to research. If you have a belief, you have to research it and you have to test it and you have to ensure that it's true. That's what you're going to be judged on. You're going to be judged on your effort and your actual implementation of what you understand is the best thing. And I believe this, and people have argued with me with this in the past, but I believe 100%, not 2%, not 3%, 100%, that if you honestly and sincerely follow what you understand is the best thing at that point, at that given time, you will be virtuous. And you know what? The God of the universe, if in fact you're doing something wrong, he will show you messages. You have to be open to listening and participating in God's communication to you. But at the end of the day, you have to you follow what you understand is the best thing at that given time. And God will hopefully show you throughout the time what is in fact the right thing. And believe it or not, God does speak to you. Okay, a lot of people say that if you speak to God, it's a healthy thing. But if he speaks back, you got a problem. You ever heard that one? You never heard that one? What's wrong with you? How does a Jew not hear such a famous joke? Are you Jewish? You see, what did he say? He said something interesting or no?
He said you don't have to be Jewish to have to speak English to have heard the joke or any variation of other languages.
That is actually true. That is actually true. You don't have to be Jewish to hear the joke, but if you're Jewish and you didn't hear the joke, then there's a problem, right? If you're not Jewish and you didn't hear the joke, okay, you know, the Jewish people are constantly joking all the time. We're one big joke. That's what the Jewish people are, one big joke, right? It's very funny, but it's, you know what they say, that within humor, what do they say? There's a lot of intensity within humor. There's a lot of deep truth in humor, right? And that's why Jewish people are one big joke, right? We like joking with each other. We like joking with others. And thank you all for joining our joke session, which will include some very deep logical and spiritual concepts, etc. But the fact is that God does communicate with you. But God has a much more complex way of communicating with you. God communicates with you with every single thing that goes on in front of your face is God's communicating. God is constantly communicating with you. The very fact that you're sitting here listening to me means that God is communicating to you through me. What is he telling you? I can't tell you what he's telling you. But I can tell you that right now God's communicating to you through me. And that's also for you guys online that are listening to this. God is communicating to you through me. That doesn't necessarily mean I can tell you what that message actually is. You have to listen to my words, and then through those words, you are getting a message from God, and I'm not sure what that message is. Based on this, that is why it's so important to study the Talmud, to study the Gemara, because you're going to see how intricate it is and how detailed it is on understanding things from the depth. And to understand this world and to understand godliness and to just understand virtue to the max, right? That is what's going on here in the Gemara. I want to thank you for watching this video all the way to the end. It means the world to me that I somehow beat out all the competition on Facebook and managed to get your attention for these 7 to 10 minutes of your time. I want to ask you if you can help me spread this around by sharing this video, by liking the video, commenting on the video. And if you really want to be part of our work, in the description, there is a link to Patreon. If you click that link, you'll be able to leave a small monthly donation to help us build some resources to enhance the quality of these very videos.